Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking something that is quite frankly going to stick with you. We're looking at the anatomy of a real-life, absolutely terrifying home breach. We're going to explore how the exact technology we install to keep ourselves safe can actually become a window into our absolute worst nightmares. Let's set the scene. It's a dark, quiet night, Tuesday, August 11th, and we are going to track a suspenseful, step-by-step sequence of events that kicked off in the dead of night, using nothing but the actual data logs and notifications from a newly upgraded smart home security system.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Picture this. You've set your brand new smart home deadbolt to stay securely locked every single night from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's the expected state, right? That's the peace of mind you literally pay for. But what happens when reality shatters that expectation? At exactly 2:25 a.m., the homeowner, who is just trying to drift off to sleep, gets abruptly pulled back to reality. The system suddenly registered an impossible status. Front door unlocked automatically.
I mean, just imagine the physical reality of that moment. The house is completely dead silent. And then you hear that soft little electronic chime echo down the dark hallway. Your phone on the nightstand vibrates, it lights up the dark room, and there it is. Front door unlocked automatically. Now, what's kind of fascinating about human psychology here is the initial reaction. The homeowner just frowned, picked up the phone, and completely brushed it off as a software glitch. Just a network hiccup. You know, it's a newly installed app. Bugs happen, right?
So, trying to fix what they assumed was just a minor glitch, they opened the app and simply tapped Lock Door. The screen hung there, loading for a few agonizing seconds in the dark. And then, it threw up this glowing, bright red warning banner. Action failed. Door handle is currently being held from the outside. Just let those words sink in for a second. That is the exact moment the illusion of safety just entirely crumbles. Because there is no glitch. There is literally someone on the other side of that door, right now, physically holding the handle.
Which brings us to Section 1, the log file, system activity. At this point, the homeowner's chest is just tightening. They're sitting up slowly in the pitch-black room, straining to hear absolutely any sound from downstairs. But it's deathly quiet.
Desperate to figure out what on earth is going on, they pull up the app's activity log. And this brilliantly, perfectly illustrates the sheer, terrifying patience of the intruder. When you look at the timeline pulled straight from the log file, you realize this wasn't some sudden, chaotic smash and grab. The log showed a string of manual unlock commands stretching back for hours, 11:30 p.m., then again at 12:45 a.m., again at 1:50 a.m., and finally, the actual breach at 2:25 a.m. The intruder had been systematically testing the door hour after hour while they slept, just waiting for the perfect moment.
But honestly, the timeline wasn't even the most disturbing part, because this wasn't a digital hack. This wasn't some guy sitting in a van with a laptop bypassing the Wi-Fi. What made the homeowner's blood run absolutely cold was the user ID attached to every single one of those hourly commands. It wasn't the homeowner's account. It wasn't some master override code punched into a keypad. The log literally read, unlocked by master key physical access. Someone was physically standing on the front porch with a physical master key, completely bypassing this wildly expensive smart system.
So now we move to Section 2, inside the house, the physical breach. We are shifting from that external threat hovering on the porch to the terrifying reality of an internal breach. Before the homeowner could even process this, before emergency services could even be dialed, a new notification popped up, confirming the absolute worst-case scenario. Front door closed, internal motion sensor activated in living room. Whoever had been out there testing that lock wasn't just trying to swipe a package off the porch. They had stepped inside. And they had deliberately closed the front door behind them, essentially trapping themselves inside the house with the homeowner.
Suddenly, this smart home app, which was literally designed to give you peace of mind, transformed into a tool of pure terror. The homeowner is just watching the sensor map on their phone track this pulsing red circle. We can actually trace those steps. Step 1, the front entryway. Step 2, the circle moves deliberately into the kitchen. Step 3, the motion sensors track the intruder moving directly toward the bottom of the staircase. The data is just so precise, so calculating, and absolutely chilling as it maps this person's path through the first floor. Now contrast that sterile, glowing digital app data on the screen with the visceral, physical reality of this exact moment. The phone shows the red circle hitting the stairs, and then the homeowner's own ears confirm it, a faint, distinct creak on the bottom stair. The digital data and the physical world just violently collide here.
The intruder is no longer just a blip on a sensor map. They are physically beginning their ascent to the second floor, coming directly for the bedroom.
Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds to our climax, the bedroom override, the final defense. The intruder is on the stairs, and the homeowner has practically zero time to react.
In a state of pure panic, the homeowner scrambles out of bed, rushes to the bedroom door, and desperately tries to lock it manually from the inside. But, right as their hand grasps the hardware, the electronic smart lock on the bedroom handle just clicks open on its own. The app in the homeowner's hand updates with one final devastating notification: bedroom lock overridden by master key. The exact same key that bypassed the front door just bypassed their very last line of defense.
Imagine just standing there, frozen, staring at that door. The handle churns slowly, downward, inch by inch. The door cracks open, and from the pitch blackness on the other side, a raspy whisper comes slipping through the crack. Thanks for updating the security system. It made getting in so much easier. The very technology they trusted to keep the bad guys out. It was the exact tool the intruder used to quietly, systematically chart their entire way inside.
Which leaves us with an incredibly unsettling thought to wrap up our explainer today. We've just seen how a so-called glitch might not be a glitch at all, but rather the digital footprint of a very real, physical threat. So I have to ask you, if your smart home app ever unlocks by itself at 2 a.m., are you going to check the log? Because as we've learned from this data, sometimes uncovering the digital truth of what's happening in your own home is far, far worse than just assuming it's a software bug. Thanks for joining us, and seriously, stay safe out there.